How's everyone doing today? Good. Well, my name's Sergeant Dickey, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Air Force. You see, every day people walk into my office and they say, I want to join the Air Force. And I wish I could just say, great, sign here, off you go. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. The average person, it takes 3 steps to be able to become a member of the United States Air Force. First, you have to be pre-qualified. Then, you have to take the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. And then lastly, you get to take a trip to your local military entrance processing station. Once all 3 steps are completed, then you're able to turn and become a member of the United States Air Force. Well, now that you know these 3 steps, let's go and explain exactly what each step means. The first step is the pre-qualification. Pre-qualification, the Air Force statistics say that 7 out of 10 people who walk through my door aren't going to make it past this step. So that means 3 out of 10 do. That means out of you 5, you're all going to make it though, right? I know. So, what does pre-qualification mean? Basically it means that me and you're going to sit down and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about you. We're going to ask some questions. I'm going to fill out this sheet of paper on you. I'm going to ask you, what's your name? What's your address? What's your phone number? How old are you? What's your date of birth? Are you married or single? You got any kids? After I ask that, then I'm going to move into a little bit tougher questions. When was the last time you smoked marijuana? Have you ever done any other drugs? Have you ever gotten in trouble with the law? Any juvenile record? Sealed or expunged? Speeding tickets even? I need to know about them. After I've asked that, then we're going to move into some medical questions. I'm going to ask, are you currently on any medication? You ever had any surgery? Do you have any eye problems? Hearing problems? Do you have asthma? Do you have all your fingers and toes? Do you have any extra ones? It's actually a question on here. I'm also going to ask, do you have any piercings? Do you have any tattoos? Once I've asked all these questions, I'm able to make a determination if you're qualified for the Air Force or not. Once I've made that determination, then we get to move on to the next step, which is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, or as we call it, the ASVAB. The ASVAB is a way for us to determine if you're mentally qualified for the Air Force. Mentally qualified means that we need at least a 36 percentile score from you to be able to join the Air Force. There are 7 sections to this test. 7. Mechanical, electrical, automotive, word knowledge, arithmetic reasoning, paragraph comprehension, and mathematical knowledge. Now these 7 sections come down to 4 categories of the Air Force. Mechanical, administrative, general, and electronic. 4 categories, I know, it's a lot. What do each of these 4 categories mean? These 4 categories are where your jobs are going to come from. Your score is going to tell us what you're qualified to do. Mechanical, just like it sounds. Vehicle maintenance, aircraft maintenance. Administrative, supply and transportation. General, police officers, firefighters, and all your medical jobs fall under general. Electronics, computer networking, computer programming, also avionics, like I used to do. So that's what the breakdown, how it works. So each branch has their own qualifying score for the Air Force, for their respective branch. The Air Force is a 36. Now you're probably wondering, oh my gosh, with all these sections and categories, what do I need to study? What you need to study is your math and your English, because the qualifying score only comes from your math and your English. So that's what you need to focus on to be able to score that 36. Reality says 36 is what it takes to get in the Air Force, but if you really want to get a job, you got to score at least a 50 so that we can get you a job in the Air Force. No problems. I know you're going to be fine. You'll get over your 50. And when you get over your 50, then we get to move on to the next step, which is that visiting that local military entrance processing station, or as we call it, MEPS. I know in the Air Force we use a lot of acronyms. It makes it a little bit easier. As you say, these words are huge, and I get to work it down to MEPS. So MEPS, Military Entrance Processing Station. MEPS has 2 purposes. First is to give you a physical. Second is to get your jobs. The first step, the physical, is the one everyone's always kind of scared about. There's no reason to be scared. If you've ever had any type of sports physical for any high school sport, this will be a breeze. What they're going to do is you're going to sit down with the doctor first off and you're going to fill out some paperwork. This paperwork is going to get your medical history. They're going to ask you everything from, have you ever had tuberculosis? Have you lived with someone who has tuberculosis? You ever gone to the emergency room? They're going to ask you, you ever had the chicken pox? They're going to ask, you ever had asthma? Just some of the things I've already asked you too. Once they get all this really in-depth medical history from you, then they're going to take blood and they're going to check your sugar levels, make sure that you're not diabetic or anything like that. They're also going to check your hearing. They're going to check your vision. Now checking your vision, they're going to check your regular vision, they're going to check your color vision, and to see if you have depth perception. That seems to be a tough one lately, actually. Once they checked all that, they're going to verify that you have all your fingers and toes and that you don't have any extra ones. Then they're going to have you walk like a duck. Get down in the catcher's position and stand up. Rotate your shoulders. Bend over and touch your toes. Making sure all your joints are good. Make sure that you don't have any problems with motion. Making sure that in every way, shape, or form, you are fit for duty. Once they've determined that you're fit for duty, then they're going to send you over to the Air Force liaisons. These guys are just basically job counselors. They do a job just like me. They're going to sit down one-on-one with you, but this time they're going to talk about jobs. They're going to say, all right, Joe, here's your scores from the ASVAB, and here are your record from your physical. We're going to put those together, and here are the jobs that you're qualified for in the Air Force. Reason being is if we did this beforehand, we may not know, and Joe may be colorblind. And I really don't want Joe being the guy cutting the blue wire if Joe can't tell which is blue and which one's green. That's why I wait for this point. So that way we can kind of filter out which jobs Joe is not qualified for from those that he is. And there's over 150 different jobs in the Air Force. So I'm sure there's something on there that you're going to find that you're going to like to do. So now that you know all 3 steps and what it takes to get through them, you know what it takes to get in the United States Air Force. So you can see, it's not as simple as walking through my door and saying, sign me up. There's those 3 steps. First, pre-qualification, asking those simple questions. Then you have the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, the ASVAB, and you'll score over a 50 so you can get a job. And then you have a visit to your Military Entrance Processing Station, or MEPS. Once all 3 are completed, then you're able to actually raise your hand and swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and become a member of the United States Air Force. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you for your time. I'll be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to talk to me or my office partner, and we'll be more than happy to get what you need. You guys have a good